Hi there, welcome back to our course. In previous section, we have talked about the first two factors of intercultural communication competence. Today, we will continue to talk about the other three factors: the skills of interpreting and relating, skills of discovery and interaction, and critical cultural awareness. The skills of interpreting and relating are ability to interpret a document or event from another culture, to explain it and relate it to documents or events from one's own. The first objective of this factor is to identify ethnocentric perspectives in a document or event and explain their origins. The second is to identify areas of misunderstanding and dysfunction in an interaction and explain them in terms of each of the cultural systems present. The last is to mediate between conflicting interpretations of phenomena. Skills of discovery and interaction are ability to acquire new knowledge of a culture and cultural practices, and the ability to operate knowledge, attitudes, and skills under the constraints of real-time communication and interaction. The first objective of this factor is the ability to elicit from an interlocutor the concepts and values of documents or events, and to develop an explanatory system susceptible of application to other phenomena. The second is the ability to identify significant references within and across cultures and elicit their significance and connotations. The third is the ability to identify similar and dissimilar processes of interaction, verbal and nonverbal, and negotiate an appropriate use of them in specific circumstances. The fourth is the ability to use in real time an appropriate combination of knowledge, skills, and attitudes to interact with interlocutors from a different country and culture, taking into consideration the degree of one's existing familiarity with the country and culture, and the extent of difference between one's own and the other. The fifth is the ability to identify contemporary and past relationships between one's own and the other culture and country. The sixth is the ability to identify and make use of public and private institutions which facilitate contact with other countries and cultures. The last is the ability to use in real time knowledge, skills, and attitudes for mediation between interlocutors of one's own and a foreign culture. Critical cultural awareness is an ability to evaluate critically and on the basis of explicit criteria perspectives, practices, and products in one's own and other cultures and countries. The first objective is the ability to identify and interpret explicit or implicit values in documents and events in one's own and other cultures. The second is the ability to make an evaluative analysis of the documents and events, which refers to an explicit perspective and criteria. And the last is the ability to interact and mediate in intercultural exchanges in accordance with explicit criteria, negotiating, where necessary, a degree of acceptance of them by drawing upon one's knowledge, skills, and attitudes.